State Nittany Lions and the Indiana Hoosiers. I'm Wayne Larrabee along with Steve Yoder. Both teams have to get a win here this afternoon to improve their records and their standing with the NCAA tournament less than 3 weeks away. Back with the starting lineups after these messages.
Considering what you are...
John Sport, discus athletic wear, Carlton, Secunda, Blasicki, Earl, the perimeter around Meche. Evans on the outside for Indiana, and Henderson inside provide the power for the Hoosiers. We'll be back with the start of today's game. This is the Raycom Sports Network. Underway, Penn State and Indiana. Indiana scored the first 4 points of the game and has a 4-point advantage at the moment. John Meche going to the free throw line off a foul on Andre Patterson, the freshman for Indiana. Take a look at the coaches in just a moment for you. John Meche missing on the first at the line. Bruce Parkhill is in his 18th season as a head coach. 6 of those seasons at William & Mary. His 12th at Penn State. And Coach Bob Knight in his 24th year with the Indiana Hoosiers. 1 out of 2 at the line for John Meche. Michael Herman on the drive, guilty of a turnover as he traveled on the play.
Well, he got in a hurry, Wayne. He carried the ball really on his hip, caused the travel.
8-5. It is a 3-point lead.
Both teams have gotten off to a pretty good start here, even though they haven't shot the ball well on the perimeter to this point, either team, but they've gotten off to a pretty good start.
Penn State has never beaten Indiana. Secunda. The outside shooting will be a key for Penn State in this ball game, especially in terms of opening up the inside for John Meche.
Well, that's a good point, and he needs to get a good look. That was a good look by Patterson. He didn't get it down, but Secunda and his teammates need to get a good look. Blasicki.
A good lead pass from Danny Earl and beat Blasicki's first field goal. Penn State back to within 1. Henderson, quick step. Secunda the rebound. The rebounding's been a problem for Indiana. They have been out-rebounded in Big Ten conference games this season.
I think Coach Knight would like a little more patience now in that half court before they're taking a running jumper like that. That's not what he's looking for early from his team.
4.5 minutes gone by in this, the first half. 1-point lead for Indiana. They tried to go low to Meche, and the foul committed on the play. Got a push down low, and we'll be back to Assembly Hall. Hoosiers lead by 1.
Floor, and that's why Coach Knight's upset.
There was a kick ball violation, not a foul, prior to the timeout.
Well, they're making their point. You've got to get back on defense in this league to stop breaks. That's why this league really not a fast break league.
Evans on the steal.
Finish it. He did. This league is not generally a fast break league because most of the teams do a great job of getting back on defense.
Evans with 6 points, high point man in the game. Donovan Williams stopped by Charlie Miller. Here's Dan Earl, guarded by Michael Herman.
Well, I think that's important, Wayne, what they just did there. Danny Earl taking the ball to the basket, drawing defensive people, and then kicking it outside.
Foul is on Michael Herman.
Good penetration right here. And then he finds the man on the perimeter, wide open, and he gets fouled. See if they can score off the out-of-bounds play here.
Bruce Parkhill shouting instructions. Obviously didn't get the message across to his team as to what play they wanted. But John Meche is in the hole, and this is usually a good play. Got no foul there, but stayed right with it.
He got fouled, but there's a good example of John Meche's good strength. And he stayed with it. He's a great player for second and third effort.
Meche intercepts the lob pass inside, intended for Henderson.
Yeah, that was a good job of defense then by Meche. Big play on the offensive end, a bigger play on the defensive end.
Penn State would like to open up the inside from the outside. Danny Earl, Rashawn Carlton, Len Secunda are the people who can get the job done on the perimeter.
I'm telling you right now, I've got to figure out a way to get the ball to Meche. He's ready to play.
From the outside missed his first 3 and now misses his second 3-point attempt. Henderson the rebound for Indiana. Hoosiers lead by 1.
Henderson's one of the top rebounders in the league also, Wayne.
Brian Evans over the back. Tom Rucker makes the call, and the foul is on the Indiana junior, his first and the 4th on the team.
There's a good job on Henderson's part following his shot, but he came over the back to get at it. Here he is. He gets the shot off. There's the contact. He goes after it and comes in over the left shoulder.
some light pressure in the backcourt by Indiana. Bartram, a senior in the ball game now, number 22 for Penn State. Donovan Williams missed the Northwestern game due to injury. He's been in and out of the lineup this season with injuries. The big house, Phil Williams, is also in the game for Penn State, number 50. Danny Earl for three.
Can't leave him open for that shot, but that will really help John Amaechi if they can continue to do that. And Penn State keeps reversing the ball, they'll eventually get the ball into the big guy.
First tray of the game for Dan Earl and Penn State. Nittany Lions by 2. Henderson ran into a wall, and Phil Williams.
That was really good help defense by Big House Williams.
Double down quickly on Evans, made him give it up. Michael Herman penetrates, and Amaechi clears the board.
Nice penetration move. Michael just didn't finish it.
Danny Earl, little stop and go. Donovan Williams with the chip shot.
Boy, they're really shooting the ball well, Wayne, and this is important for Coach Parkhill, for his team to get off to this kind of start.
Got a whistle away from the ball. Donovan Williams guilty of a hold on Patton Knight. Pat Knight's first, or I should say Donovan Williams first and second on the team. Penn State shoots more three-point field goals than Indiana. This is highly unusual. Last year, Indiana led the nation in three-point shooting. This year, they're down around 30%, and they're not even attempting a lot of three-point shots. They're real consistent. If there's a consistent shooter out there at 30% for Indiana, would be Brian Evans. He's their one option. Penn State has 4. That's Patterson, the freshman from Texas, on the drive out of Abilene, Texas.
Good point on the three-point options that both of these teams have. Indiana doesn't have a real good three-point shooting guard like those Indiana guards of the past, Alford and Bailey.
Indiana's free throw shooting is its lowest since 1971. Team free throw shooting, and that'll often give you an indication as to how many shooters you have on your team.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Indiana did a nice job that time in not letting them reverse the ball.
Phil Williams touched it last. It'll belong to Indiana.
That was a good defensive effort there. Henderson would not let them reverse the ball, which I think Penn State's going to have to do if they're going to get the ball to Amaechi. They're going to have to be able to swing the ball to the weak side of the floor and then get him cut across the line.
Neil Reed is into the ball game, replacing Michael Herman. Reed with the brace on his shoulder, his right shoulder, playing with a partially separated shoulder, much like Brian Evans did a couple of years ago. He'll have surgery when the season is concluded.
He's really played tough for this Indiana team.
Henderson got inside, didn't finish. The save by Bartram, and Donovan Williams comes out of the pack.
You don't have any numbers. Be smart here.
Earl off a screen by the big house. Henderson helped out.
Well, Indiana's not going to guard Phil Williams.
Bartram drew the foul. It's on Patterson. Andre Patterson's second personal. That's the 5th on the team.
Some good decisions, Wayne, being made here by Penn State. I mean, when they're going and taking the ball to the basket. Here goes Bartram, taking the ball right to the hole to draw a foul. And which you've really got to do, and you've got to do it in here against Indiana. You know, to beat Indiana, you have to be tougher than they are. You're just going to have to be physically tougher and mentally tougher if you beat them on their home court.
Bartram with his first upcoming. He's the senior on this team. He and Amaechi provide the leadership. Two-year starter, member of the Big Ten academic team last year. Switched from guard to small forward last season. Playing some guard now this year.
You make a good point. He's really helped this team because he can play 3 positions. They've even played him some at the point.
Indiana trailing by 3.
Penn State in his own defense now.
And why not, Coach, well, if Indiana's going to be able to hit it from the outside. Good interior feed to Henderson, who posted up well on Amaechi.
Well, and that's the first thing Indiana's going to do against the zone, Wayne. They're going to look to try and find out if you have a weakness inside, and they're going to attack that weakness first. And then they'll look for their perimeter shot.
Amaechi on the block against Patterson to the left hand. Phil Williams over the back on the tip, and it's going to go against Penn State. First on Williams, third on the team. Penn State on the road, leading by 1. Lewis Assembly Hall. home of the Indiana Hoosiers, and back home for Steve Yoder, an Indiana native, although head coach at Wisconsin.
Right.
The big men in this ball game, a great matchup here between two of the best inside players in the country, John Amaechi and Alan Henderson.
No question, these two seniors lead their teams, and usually how they play is how their team's going to play.
Stats were just about equal across the board for those two great seniors in the Big Ten. Indiana Hoosiers on offense. This is Patterson. There's Evans. Mike Reed can hit the tray. The turnaround by Henderson. He left it short. Dan Earl picks it off for Penn State. The Nittany Lions lead by 1. We're almost halfway through this first half.
That was really a good defensive possession for Indiana. Or for Penn State. Now we're going to see what kind of defensive possession Indiana has.
Pete Lasicki, the freshman, for 3. Ring it up.
Well, don't let those young guys get their confidence now on the road. He's going to be a really good player for Penn State. Lasicki, freshman.
Penn State has 2 3-point field goals to none for Indiana. That'll belong to the Hoosiers. Evans on the inbound. Here's Mike Reed.
That was a great job by Penn State because Evans was the key to that. They were going to get the ball back to Evans.
Evans finds Henderson. Yes, and a foul. Yes, and it counts. John Amaechi's first personal foul, 4th on the team.
That's really a tough foul on Amaechi. I don't know that he did a thing. He's just standing there. He raised his arms. He's frustrated. Look at him. I mean, here's a good look. Watch it. He's just standing there. They jump into him and create the contact. That's the one thing I wish the officials would take a hard look at, is that play inside where the big guy is in a vertical position, doesn't move, the offensive player creates a contact, and they'll call that foul almost every time on the offense or on the defensive player. I just don't think it's right.
7 points for Alan Henderson. Penn State's first Big Ten game as a member of the Big Ten Conference was here at Assembly Hall a couple of years ago. And Amaechi picked up 2 fouls early. Penn State went on to lose.
Stay with it.
5:57.
You
Battle
can't miss.
down low, and it's going to belong to who?
Yeah, you can't miss those shots, Wayne. When a big guy gets a shot like that in there, you cannot miss those shots. You've got to finish that. He's a sophomore, and he's going to be a good player for him, and that's his range, too. I mean, he doesn't get much shooting outside of 10 feet. He's got to convert those.
He's not really a skilled offensive player down there. He's only played organized basketball for 4 years. Bill Williams.
They're staying in that zone defense. They're scrambling a little bit now, but they're active and they're covering people and they're shutting off the penetration.
Steve Hart did not start today. Here's Henderson.
Indiana's being patient, which they need to be.
10 to go.
The clock is running down now.
Now down to 7 to go on the shot clock.
Good defense.
Down
Stay
to
with
4
it.
to go.
Stay with it. Stay with your good defense.
Henderson will have to bail him out.
Tough shot.
Didn't get it off in time.
Yep.
Shot clock violation.
That was good defense. And I think, you know, that's one of the reasons the field goal percentage is down in the league this year, too. Better defense, tougher shots being taken.
The officials, Ted Hillary, Tom Rucker, Tom Clark. And Tom Clark made the emphatic call on that 35-second violation.
Inside open.
Bartram, good look to Earl, who drew contact in the foul.
Boy, it's really good to see that. A guard sneaking in behind the defense and getting open, and then Bartram being able to find him. There he is, passed right through the defense, over the top, and he draws a foul. He doesn't finish the shot, but he draws a foul.
Andre Patterson picks up his 3rd personal foul, 6 on the team, and Dan Earl at the free throw line. Earl was the 1993 New Jersey Player of the Year, scored over 2,000 points in his high school career.
It's good. Penn State's one of the better free throw shooting teams in the league.
In fact, they are number 1 in free throw percentage as Patterson heads out. Penn State, 71% as a team from the free throw line.
Coach Knight expects a little better defensive play around the basket than he's getting right now.
Todd Lindemann, a 7-footer, may be able to give him that kind of play. He checks in for Patterson, who has a seat on the bench. Danny Earl now with 5 points in the game. Penn State's lead again is 3.
Now they're back in the man-to-man defense.
Lindemann not expecting it. Here comes Bartram.
Big time! Attaboy, Bartram. What a nice play by that kid. Earlier in the year, he wasn't even playing much, and he seems to have his second win right here in the dog days of the season.
5-point lead, Penn State. Michael Herman out front. Here's Henderson on the arc.
Penn State is shutting off most penetration now.
Time winding down to the shot clock.
Henderson's got that confidence, and Penn State's doing a good job on defense, and Henderson's going to try and pull his team out right now by taking a good percentage shot when he's squared up.
9 points for Henderson. Bartram sets it up. Lisicki, quick release over Herman. Rebound Henderson. Good position on Phil Williams. Evans on the finish.
He got it.
8 points for Brian Evans, and the Hoosiers storm back to within 1.
Be smart, Penn State, because you can't get in a running match on the road with the home team.
Danny Earl sets up the play. 20 to go on the 35-second shot clock.
See, they're not even guarding Williams. See, he's out there picking. Good pick. Stay with it.
The rebound.
Come up with it. Come on.
Bartram chases it down.
Got to get the ball centered here. You got to get it centered. That's it.
Dan Earl out front. Looks to the bench. Gets the play. Bruce Parkhill wants some motion here. Lisicki comes wide to get it.
Let's see if we can get it inside. I know they'd like to get it to Amici. He's being held. Being tough for him to reverse it. There's a skip pass.
8 to go on the shot clock, traveling the call as Pete Lisicki, the freshman, pulled up at the baseline. Timeout on the floor. 7:03 to go. First half at Assembly Hall. Penn State by 1.
Found it. Herman, sideline pass to Evans, and he finishes.
Indiana basketball off the turnover by Penn State prior to the timeout. 7 minutes left to go, first half.
So you give them opportunities, Indiana's going to run. Otherwise, they're going to break you down in the half court.
Herman at the arc for 2, a long 2.
It's a long 2, and you can't give a guard that kind of a look. He had a real good look at the basket, and he converted.
Second from the field, 4 points for Herman. Indiana by 1 as we begin to seesaw. Here's a look at the shooting from the outside, from the arc. Oh, good interior feed to Secunda.
Well, he made a great pass. He threw that pass away from the defensive bench, which allowed Secunda to finish it.
Secunda has 4. Penn State by 1. This is Charlie Miller.
A little curl cut there by Evans. See if Herman can create some penetration here.
Lindham in the 7-footer. Rashawn Carlton the rebound. Patience and toughness are the keys to dealing with Indiana.
I like that pass. Get it in there, big guy.
Meiji traveled.
I like to see him just square up face and take it right at their forehead. Shoot it right over the top of the forehead. I think he could draw the foul in there. He's trying to make some moves with his back to the basket, but I think he's being banged and banged and banged. He's not got a call yet.
Turnovers even here in this first half of play. Double dribble violation. Turnover Indiana. You know, Roy Williams once mentioned to me that when playing Bob Knight and Indiana, patience and toughness. Toughness to fight through the screens defensively. Patience to wait out the Indiana offense.
Well, those are good points, Wayne. You've got to be tougher than they are physically, and you've got to be tougher than they are mentally.
Lisicki drops it down to Rashawn Carlton for a higher percentage shot.
The defense really got mixed up there because that was just too open inside for that to happen.
Evans. The tip by Charlie Miller, knifing in.
They didn't keep Miller off the board. You got to check those guys on the perimeter. The ball came off the weak side. Nobody checked him.
Coming up on 5 minutes to go, first half. Penn State by 1. Carlton from the outside has missed 3 times from the arc now.
He's one of their better three-point shooters, but he's not hit one yet.
Evans to Henderson. Henderson hesitated. Charlie Miller, the freshman, wanted that pass on the ring.
Well, he was wide open, Wayne, and he wanted the ball. He felt it.
Lindemann in close. did not finish.
Well, you got to finish, and you got to make up your mind just to get it down. And that's kind of been his story.
You know, and the other thing, when you're a big man and you're that close, you got to just go to the rack and drain it, flush it.
Yep.
None of this little touch stuff inside and laying it up off the glass. That go to the rim and just hammer it down. Amechi to the hook shot, left it short.
Yeah. Well, that's a tough one on John, too. He's getting bumped. He's not getting the call, so he's got to stop worrying about it.
Michael Herman, Henderson down low. Nice move.
Great move by Henderson. He got open in the middle again, and then had the savvy to make a good reverse move and bank it off the glass.
Henderson and Evans, the two veterans, have combined for 19 of the 27 Indiana points here this afternoon.
Penn State needs to continue to be patient. There's no problem here. They're in the first half, or they're banging inside. Amechi just can't get open with the contact that's going on.
Dan Earl, the shovel for Amechi. There's a foul.
Well, that's a good job. They finally, he keeps working, though, Wayne. The big guy keeps working around the basket. Those guards will eventually find him. He just can't get frustrated.
Brian Evans, second personal, 7th on the team.
Here comes Danny Earl driving to the basket. He's looking for his big guy. There's the pass. Just go in there strong. Which he did. Too bad he didn't finish that for Penn State. Those are the things you got to try to finish around the basket as well.
Pete Lasicki comes out. Donovan Williams goes in for Penn State now. Bartram up off the bench. He'll be coming in a moment for the Nittany Lions. Amechi has 6 points in the game.
Well, I think that Coach Parkhill's doing an excellent job right here, using his bench, keeping his players fresh. He knows it's important to stay close here in the first half and be ready to have an all-out war in the second half.
Penn State got off slowly. Shot under 40% of the first game between these two teams. They shot 34% of the first half, came out to shoot 60% of the second half, and made a game of it. This telecast is presented by the authority of the Big Ten Conference in Cook. We're at Assembly Hall. Wayne Larrabee, Steve Yoder, great to have you with us for an afternoon of Big Ten basketball. Earlier today on many of these Raycom stations, Ohio State upset Minnesota 73-65. Cat night in the game for Indiana. Henderson shakes loose at the baseline again.
Man. What a strong move to the basket. Plus, Alan Henderson is just having a great game in here this afternoon. He'll have to continue to carry this team, and he'll have to have a great second half as well, but he's having really a truly good first half.
13 points for Henderson so far. Coming up on 3 minutes to go, first half. Off the ball, we've got a foul on Donovan Williams. That's his second personal, 5th on the team.
So you got a moving pick here, and he's extending his arms. They don't like to see you extend your arms when you're setting the pick. You got to keep the hands in close to your body.
There it is.
Just pushing off back there.
Neil Reed. Indiana leading by 1. Reed for 3. Ring it up.
Oh, that's got to be great for Neil. He practiced hard in here yesterday. That's got to give him a lift to hit that three-point shot.
He hit 8 of 11 three-point shots the other day in practice. Donovan Williams. Henderson the rebound. Indiana enjoys a 4-point advantage. Here's Charlie Miller.
Make a good decision. Nice job. Nice job by Reed, recognizing they didn't have it. Well, I liked Reed that time, too. When he took that last shot, he leaned into it.
Henderson having a big first half with 15 points.
They better get out and cover him because he's just having his way inside and outside. Keep it close now, Penn State, because that's a chance you have. Don't let it get away just before the end of the half.
Bartram gave up his dribble. Indiana extends the defense. For Sean Carlton, very little room to operate. Bartram watched by Knight. Pass deflected by Henderson. Bartram gets it back.
Keep the ball moving.
Amechi down low to the hook shot. Lindemann pulls down the board.
That's good rebound. Good aggressive play by Lindemann.
Indiana enjoys the biggest lead by either team in this game, 6 points. 1:30 to go in the half.
Well, and they've shown a lot better patience here the last 2 or 3 times down the floor, Wayne, and that's critical. They look more like one of the Indiana teams of the past. So they're not forcing things, and they're waiting for something to happen.
5 to go on the shot clock for Indiana. Neil Reed has it tipped away.
Good defense. Good defense.
Donovan Williams triggered it loose. Carlton to Williams to finish. Blocked by Henderson.
Nice defensive play by Alan Henderson. Getting back on defense. Waiting for the little guard to make his move before the big guy decided to go block it.
Under a minute to go, first half. Strong finish for Indiana. Reed for three, left out.
Come up with it. Come up with it, Blue. There you go. Now they need a good possession here, Wayne.
Donovan Williams sets it up to Bartram.
They need to get a good possession here. The ideal thing is if they could get a perimeter shot and go down.
Carlton rims it out. He's had a tough shooting first half.
Bob wants the last shot here. Coach Knight wants the last shot. I think in these situations now, and you see this happen so often, now we're holding the ball. I really believe that you need to be moving the basketball and moving bodies and not waiting till that clock runs down. Keep everybody in the flow. What's going on now? Start your movement. Get moving. Good penetration. Kick out to Pat Knight.
Charlie Miller, the freshman. Bartram up high for the board as time winds down in this first half of play. Indiana finished the first half on an 11-4 run. And the Hoosiers head to the locker room, leading Bruce Parkhill and the Penn State Nittany Lions 34-28. Well, they're up over 50%, and thus they have the lead of the first half.
Well, they are, Wayne. Plus, they're really having a good time on defense. They're playing well on defense and holding Penn State to around 37%. So, you know, they're playing really well on both ends of the floor.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights of the first half of this afternoon's game. Alan Henderson played big time in this game on both ends of the floor.
He does great timing here. Smaller guard going in. He waits on him to leave the floor, and then he makes the block, gets his own rebound here. There he goes. And then he goes to the other end. Now watch what happens down here. We're going to get some good ball movement here in a second. Into Henderson. Nice position. Great pass. And then he finishes with the knock. He knocks it off the glass, which is really a good move.
Glenn Secunda's been getting inside, and Penn State in general has penetrated for the most part.
Good pass in here. And you got to finish it, which he does.
Halftime statistics, the shooting, Penn State just at 36% in the first half of play. We mentioned Indiana up over 52%. Three-point shooting. Rashawn Carlton is 0 for 3 from the arc. Rebounding is about even. So are the turnovers. Indiana, the 10 assists attest to the way they've moved the ball in the first half of this afternoon's game. We'll be back with the second half. Take a look at the leading scorers of the first half of the game. John Amaechi up front for Penn State, but just 2 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. And for the Indiana Hoosiers, Alan Henderson, a monster first half, 7 of 10 for the field, 8 rebounds to go along with the 15 points. Played 20 minutes in that first half.
Well, the first 5 minutes here, Wayne, could be really critical for Penn State. You know, they're down 6. They've played really well. The only difference here is Indiana is shooting a lot better percentage, made more shots at this point. So Penn State needs to get off to a good start right here in the second half.
Evans for Indiana as the Hoosiers start the second half. Nice dish into Alan Henderson.
Nice finish. I tell you, really good hands on Henderson's part. He caught the ball in traffic, and then he didn't fool around with it. He just went up and dunked it like you talked about before.
Those big guys go to the rack and pull it down. Nice feed into Secunda and a foul.
Well,
barreled down by Evans.
Yeah, he got undercut there. Didn't mean to, but he just got him when he was up in the air. So, chance for a three-point play here.
Watch this good feed from Dan Earl to Secunda, wide open.
Well, he finishes strong, and he got hit on his hip, which took his feet out from under him, and he just went to the floor.
Secunda. Evans now with 3 personal fouls. Secunda, the three-point play. Penn State trailing by 5.
Pretty good start for both teams.
Penn State showing a 2-3 zone at the moment.
I think it's smart for them to try and mix their defenses early here in the second half, which really helps tempo because Indiana slows down a little bit to see what kind of defense they're in and see how they can attack it.
Neil Reed. Meche chased Reed out of there. Evans from long range, bring it up.
You don't want him to get started now. You can't give Evans a good look. He's a great perimeter shooter, shoots the ball really well at home, struggles a little bit on the road, but he shoots it well in here.
Evans with 11 points, his first tray of the afternoon. Indiana leading by 8, biggest lead for either team. Meche walked inside. Again, John Meche very frustrated. He's been getting contact inside all day. Bruce Parkhill equally as frustrated on the Penn State bench, and Bruce already has a technical foul.
Well, I wish John had turned and faced the guy behind him rather than put it on the floor right away. But he's getting banged, but he's also shuffling his feet.
Charlie Miller out front. Here's Reed. Evans, and denied by Meche, the interior feed to Henderson. Miller off the mark. Miller gets it back. Michael Herman.
Yeah, you can't give him that many looks at the basket and expect to beat him. That was just one of those situations where Herman's in the right spot at the right time.
Indiana enjoys the first double-digit lead of the game. Dan Earl on the drive. Henderson the rebound.
Well, this is really a critical point in time now for Penn State. In Indiana, they're going to be aggressive in the half court here. But Indiana has let almost every opponent back in the game this year, which is unusual for an Indiana team, but that shows their youth.
The interior feed from Herman to Henderson not there, and off the turnover, Penn State gets a reprieve. Donovan Williams up off the bench, reports on, replacing Pete Lisicki for Penn State.
Well, Michael Herman tried to make a good play there, just letting too much.
Take a look at what they do when they win and when they lose. And today, they're winning.
Well, they're shooting it real well, and they're using their head on taking good shots.
This is Secunda. 14 to go on the shot clock. In the lane, we've got a foul. I believe it's Henderson.
Right, it's Henderson trying to keep track of a Meche in there, which is a tough thing to do.
Henderson's first, second on the team.
Say if Penn State can score here off the out-of-bounds play. Back pick. Put it in there.
Meche. Blocked by Henderson. Meche again. Fouled by Henderson this time.
You know, that's one of the real good attributes of John Meche. He has that effort. He stays with what he does. He didn't finish, but he stays right with it. Gets it back and then gets fouled. Here he is. He faced him. There's where he's getting his foul, or his travel calls too. If you watch his feet there. Good second effort, and he got fouled.
Meche makes the first of 2. He is 4 out of 5 from the free throw line, and he played big last month against Indiana at Rec Hall.
Big, strong kid, nice free throw shooter. Good touch for a big guy at the free throw line.
Indiana's lead is 8. Henderson through contact and a foul. It's on Secunda helping out.
You see, Henderson has great confidence on his ability inside. And once he gets a guy on his back, he keeps him there. He feels the pressure and he just keeps moving with the defensive player. Nice pass in there. He gathers himself, gets squared up, takes a tough shot, gets fouled.
Henderson at the free throw line. 17 points here this afternoon. Has registered a double-double in each of his last 6 games, and he's well on his way to a double-double now. 9 rebounds in the ball game, 8 of which came in the first half. Lindemann into the contest for Bob Knight and the Hoosiers. 1 out of 2 at the line, and Meche claims the board.
Big possession here now for Penn State.
Hoosiers lead by 9.
Good pressure defense, Indiana.
Meche blocked by Lindemann.
Well, they're all over that kid's back, and he's not getting a call. They're not paying any attention to the body contact that's being made inside today on Meche.
Reed to Henderson. He'll go to the line.
Boy, good hands. I'm really impressed with Alan Henderson. his body control inside, his hands and so on. Can play inside, can play outside. And here he is moving inside, got position, good pass, good hands, trying to finish, locate the basket. Just didn't get it to drop.
And as you saw a moment ago, Meche with his second personal foul. 19 now for Alan Henderson.
They're really making good passes to him, Wayne. They're throwing away from the defensive pressure, and he's going right after it and getting it.
The coach, they've got good spacing in there.
Well, that's a good point. I think that's one of the things that the Indiana team has missed too this season, is having good spacing. Good steal.
Herman
Got to run it down.
Evans.
Nice job by Evans running down that long pass. Not known for his quickness either, but he ran that one down.
13-point lead for the Hoosiers. Almost 4 minutes into the second half. Standing ovation for Indiana. The Hoosiers flex their muscles. Herman right here. This is a nifty pickpocket.
Well, really good defensive play by Herman. Then a great lead pass, which Evan has to put the afterburners on, catch up with, and finish. And then we had a good timeout called by Coach Parkhill, try to settle his team down now, not have any more mistakes in the half court.
13-point lead, Indiana, biggest of the afternoon. Dan Earl, the skip pass, Donovan Williams.
Got to finish here, John.
And Meche lost the handle on it.
Well, he got hammered, too.
Michael Herman. Evans at the arc.
Can't give him that shot.
Secunda the rebound.
Give Evans that good a look. Usually he'll hit that shot.
Earl for three. Secunda banging the boards. Going to belong to Indiana.
Well, there's some real banging going on inside here today. And I'm going to give the players on the floor inside a lot of credit for keeping their composure for as much banging and hacking and slapping and bodying up as going on in there.
Boy, this second half, Indiana has come out and shot very well, nearly going. Reed right back to Henderson.
Good kick-out pass there. Evans.
Donovan Williams up high for the rebound. He's a good athlete. He's been injury-riddled throughout his career at Penn State. Rashawn Carlton's had a rough day shooting the ball.
Well, he's had some real good looks, and he just hasn't been able to get anything to fall.
Since 3:40 of the first half left to go in the first half, Indiana has outscored at Penn State 19-5. Lindemann left it short. Evans in among the trees.
Look at him scrap, both teams. And they stayed right there with it. Good job by the Indiana kids. Good job by the Penn State kids. Really scrapping, almost a steal here.
Boy, Michael Herman, those quick hands after the tap in by Lindemann, and a traveling violation here on Danny Earl.
Well, Danny's trying to get in a hurry. Really Indiana's got control of this game right now. The tempo has really swung Indiana's way. Penn State has not been able to get the tempo slowed down to a better half-court style. That's what Coach Parkhill is upset with.
The Indiana run, if you go back for the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds of the first half now, is 21-5 over Penn State. That was a shot. I think it was a lead pass, lob pass initially.
I suspected that Henderson was going to become the Superman or something.
Donovan Williams got caught in no man's land, but did find Secunda. 15-point lead, Indiana. Penn State could ill afford a mistake on this possession here.
Boy, he's getting hammered in there. They finally call a hold.
Lindemann's first, fourth on the team.
He's working hard. You got to give Todd a lot of credit. He's really working hard. He needs to move his feet, quit throwing his arms over his arm. You'll see it here on the replay. There he is, chopping his arm down. We call that a chop down. That's fine, but you can't do it as aggressive as that. Lay it over there and then pull it down.
Henderson leads to a rousing round of applause. Andre Patterson, the freshman, is back on for Indiana. Carlton was fouled in the play. Lindemann, I believe, is the man that Tom Clark has on the foul once again. It's his second right away.
Todd's
Five of
probably,
the team.
he's probably trying to figure out why he got that one. I mean, he's been doing so much banging in there, and nothing gets called, and then when he goes in to help somebody, he gets a bump foul call.
Rashawn Carlton at the free throw line. I mentioned he struggled in the first half. 1 for 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from the three-point stripe in the first half for Carlton.
Well, he got the lid off, Wayne. Maybe that'll help him.
Penn State has scored 6 points here in the second half, 4 of which have come at the free throw line. 48-35. The lead again is 13 for Indiana. 6 minutes gone by, second half. Lindemann at a high post, double team from Earl. Reed left unattended for 3. Secunda the rebound.
They need a good defensive possession now here. Indiana, who gets these 13-point leads, they're a young team, and they've given these leads up.
Secunda. Nice entry feed to Ameche, score it.
Big time move there. He knew where the basket was, and it made a nice move and finished it.
Only his 3rd field goal of the day. He has 11 points. Herman retrieved just in time. Indiana's lead is down to 11.
They need a really good look at the basket here now, without forcing things. Keep good spacing, keep moving the ball.
Patterson got the good look.
He sure did. I really like him. I think when he learns how to play hard all the time at both ends, he's really going to be a fine player in this league.
Williams checked by Reed. Secunda's been quiet.
Tough to beat somebody out there that far, that quick, and that possession.
Patterson finds Evans for 3.
Good look.
The tip by Lindemann.
Nice tip by Lindemann. Todd was right there, and he's just softly tipped the ball in the basket.
And he restores a 15-point lead, Indiana.
Don't need to be in a hurry now. You're on the road. You need to get a good look here. Keep moving the ball. You're going to get something.
Secunda.
There you go. That was much better than Secunda coming down the possession before and shooting the ball off the first pass. They moved the ball, got the flow, and got a good shot. 9
points for Glenn Secunda. Evans trying to hit Lindemann, taken away by Secunda.
Yeah, a little bit of a force, trying to force it inside.
Now Patterson holding Ameche, and that's going to be the 4th on the freshman Andre Patterson. His minutes have been severely limited today due to foul trouble.
Well, I think one of the things there is they're trying to keep him off the low post, so they're trying to pick him up earlier.
Indiana leading with 11:50 left to go in the game, 52-39. Home very tough. Penn State trailing 52-39. Nittany Lions have the ball.
Remember, we talked about the patience Penn State was going to have the second half. They really haven't had it. We talked about the aggressive defensive play Indiana was going to have, and they've been there.
The big house. Phil Williams is in the lineup now for Penn State. This is Rashawn Carlton. Pete Lisicki, the freshman, returns. Carlton, a bit of a force there, and left it short. Evans up high for the board.
They're getting no second and third shots right now, so they're getting one good look at the basket, and that's it.
Penn State shooting around 33% for the game. Neil Reed. Lindemann not expecting the pass. Bartram back the other way.
Well, Reed had the right idea. Todd just is tough for him to handle those passes in those situations.
Ball almost thrown over the head of Bartram. Lisicki drops to Ameche. Had it knocked away. Picked off by Carlton. Oh, good hustle by Michael Herman to save it to Evans. 50% for the Hoosiers thus far in the ball game. Patterson.
Boy, he looks good facing up, being squared up. That's a freshman. They're going to have a really good ball club here in a year or so because they've got really good freshmen.
Once again, the lead back to 15 points for Indiana. Bartram all the way. Rashawn Carlton.
One of the few times they're getting a second look.
Bartram for 3. Patterson cleans the board.
Good play there by Patterson.
Indiana's done a much more efficient job on the boards in the second half.
Can't get him that look.
For 3, at 3/4 of the way down. Michael Herman stripped away by Bartram in the foul. Bartram's first, 3rd on the team.
Indiana, Wayne's really getting some good looks, aren't they? Really got to have to be impressed with their freshmen. They have 4 of them, or 3 of them on the floor right now with Herman and Reed and Patterson. And, you know, Charlie Miller, who's really been playing well for him as a freshman, is not out there right now, but you really have to like their freshmen. And the one good thing for those kids, they're getting to play.
And you know what, Coach? Freshmen always play better at home, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And you know, the tough lessons they have to learn is really how hard they have to work on a consistent basis daily. It's not just Indiana's freshmen, it's every freshman. They learn to have to find out the disciplines that are so important to becoming successful if you're going to be good in this league.
Lou Henson told us Michael Herman was the best player, high school player in Illinois last year. And here he is at Indiana hitting a pair of free throws. He has 8 points in the game. Indiana's lead is up to 17 points. Carlson traveled.
Sure did. I mean, he just shuffled his feet, caught the ball on his hip, and couldn't complete it.
Under 10 minutes to go in the game. Bruce Parkhill, his team looking up at a 17-point deficit.
It's a nice move by Evans to get himself open.
Herman, and away from the ball on the baseline. Got a push coming up on Dan Earl as he shoved Evans.
You know, one thing about Evans, not a real quick kid, but if he'll keep moving, he uses the picks really well. Look for him to get the ball back here off this out-of-bounds play. He's a good shooter.
Dan Earl's first personal foul 4 on the team.
Here he comes. But
Patterson was bumped by Phil Williams out of the floor. The shot would not count.
That's a nice move for a freshman. Take the ball to the basket like that. That shows his confidence is growing.
Second foul on Big House, 5th on the team. Michael Herman. There's again the curl by Evans and pops up on Rashawn Carlson.
Good
Herman
move.
on the drive.
Good follow.
Patterson over the back.
No basket. Foul over the back, Wayne.
That should be his 5th. We've got him for 5, and that would eliminate the freshman Andre Patterson, who is just starting to get into this thing, from the game.
Well, it's a good call. He comes over his back. He does complete the play, which is a good move on the part of Patterson. Here's the drive by Herman. Good move. Goes up. There's going to be a rebound here. There he is, coming right over the back. He makes it, but he fouled it.
So no basket. Patterson leaves with 6 points. Fouls out with 9:28 to go.
I don't know if Indiana knows it, but of course, Machu's back here under the basket. Doesn't make any difference. He's down at the other end of the floor. Big John is not going to have to make that run the distance to the floor. He's already down there on defense.
Evans had it knocked away. Carlton hustling along with Lindemann.
Well, Penn State is not giving up by any means. They're staying in this thing, trying to create something, get a steal, get an easy basket at the other end.
Michael Herman coming up on 9 minutes to go in the game. Evans finds Henderson.
Oh, big time. That's Allen. That's an expression. He's ready.
22 for Henderson as he explodes to the hoop.
You like to have a senior, that kind of leadership offensively. That's the kind of thing you'd like to see Lindemann do.
Blocking foul on Evans. Big House will go to the line.
Well, this might be a good time to make a point. You know, referees sometimes make mistakes. I don't know where this is or not, but they make between 4 and 6 mistakes a ball game. Teams turn the ball over some 30 times in a ball game.
Take a look at this. Let's see if we can pick it up. There's a Mechi. They reverse it. It was hard to tell on that replay if Evans was planted or not, but it looked like it. It looked like he had position. Nonetheless, Williams missing on the free throw. Penn State starting to miss its free throws here in the second half. Indiana continues to lead by 19.
Nice move.
Herman on the drive. The feed from the big guy, Lindemann.
He came off a curl cut off the weak side of the floor, right down the lane. Great timing on that play.
Williams out front. Indiana leading by 21. Carlton on the drive.
Well, you could almost anticipate that was going to happen.
His second personal. 6 on the team. Bruce Parkhill, things went from bad to worse here in the second half for him.
Well, you're right. It's gotten away from him a little bit. They were playing so well, but that critical period, that critical part where they had to get off to a good start, and Indiana just stretched the lead on them.
Ryan Evans has a seat on the bench. Charlie Miller is in for Indiana. 8 minutes left to go. Henderson has a double-double, double digits points and rebounds for the 7th consecutive game. Reed, good, inside, outside work, and Reed hits the home run.
That was a nice move on the part of Henderson. He recognized the double team and got it out.
Williams.
There you go, big move, big move. Somebody didn't pick him up. He was wide open.
Herman.
Stepped out on sideline.
Yes, he did. Tom Rucker comes over to make the call in front of the Indiana bench. Michael Herman, a bemused look on his face. 7:36 left to go. Right now, we pause for this. Gillette Right Guard presents the Big Ten Player of the Week. Times as many blocks as John Amaechi.
He sure does. Now watch him off of this. Here goes the move right here. He explodes right through traffic.
Penn State trailing 63-41. They have the ball. Boy, Michael Herman right out on Dan Earl. Way outside. Lisicki pops up quickly. Lindemann kept it alive for Indiana.
Good
Herman
hustle.
retrieves. And gives
nice
it up
steal.
to Bartram on the reverse.
Oh, what finish by Bartram. He stayed right with it. Herman was battling to keep it. Bartram just took it away.
Coming up on 7 minutes left to go in the game. Indiana by 20.
Find the open man, Allen. Double team. Somebody's got to move, though. See, nobody's moving.
Going to belong to Penn State.
They got to move. Stokes Knight wanting him to kick it out, but he's got nobody to kick it out to.
Lisicki, Earl, Bartram the perimeter for Penn State. Big House Williams and John Amaechi inside.
Keep playing defense.
That's an NBA
Yeah.
play.
Well, he felt that.
Pete Lisicki with his second three-pointer of the game.
Big shot for Lisicki. That was an important shot for him, but more important for his team at this point.
17-point lead, Indiana. Nice move by Reed to the baseline. Finds Henderson. Stripped away. And traveling the call.
Yeah, he did travel, but I think he got a little help there. He was really scrapping. It was a good defensive play. Come up with it, and then I think he might have got pushed from behind. Take a look at it and see. Yeah, I think
Yeah, he did. He traveled. Good call by
There
Tom
wasn't any
Rucker.
question about the travel. I don't know whether anybody saw any contact there or not.
Now Ted Hillary checking with the scorer's desk, and they're going to just reset the shot clock. 35 seconds.
Neither one of these teams have given up in here, Wayne. They're battling. I tell you, Indiana's really looking sharp today here at home.
Steve Hart is in the game in place of Michael Herman. Herman on the bench with 10 points, 9 assists, and 3 steals. Excellent floor game for him. He's the freshman out of King High School in Chicago. 6 minutes left to go in the game. Indiana's lead is 63-46 off the ball. Got a foul down low.
I think Hart got fouled. I think Hart's going to the line.
Yeah, it is on Dan Earl. His second personal foul. 7 of the team. Again, when you come to an Indiana game and you watch Indiana play, Coach, you have to watch both off the ball as well as on the ball.
Well, you do. And for Penn State to get back in it right now, they're going to have to get some defensive stops, obviously, on the defensive end of the floor, and then on the offensive end of the floor. They're going to have to convert almost every time down the floor with almost 6 minutes left to play.
Steve Hart drains a pair at the line. It's 65-46 Indiana.
And they can't really wait. They need to get down here and get a good look. And and they're going to have to convert the look that they get.
Steve Hart guilty of the foul there.
That's not a smart foul on Hart's part, because the one thing you don't want to do is stop the clock to give them a chance to catch up while the clock's dead.
Knight not happy at all with Steve Hart. Enunciating perhaps the points you were just making, although
you can't defense by running along the side of anybody. See, and that's what coach is upset with. He wants him to get down the floor and get in a squared up position where he can contain the player rather than run beside him. And a lot of players make that kind of mistake. But listen, if you're concentrating on the game and you're focused, you know you can't make that foul. I think Coach Knight has been upset with his team most of the year on the fact that they can't seem to focus on what's going on in the ball game.
Focus for an entire game.
Exactly, 40 minutes. And everybody's team needs to do that. Some players can do it, some can't.
Hart on the penetration.
Nice move. So he makes up for it. He comes back down the floor, and he keeps his man while his man is chasing him on the side.
Danny Earl. Lasicki for three.
Yeah, Lasicki's got a hot hand. He's a freshman. He's going to be a good one in this league, and he's a tough kid, Wayne. They really like his mental toughness.
Remember, Penn State has 4 options.
Uh-oh.
The three-point line.
Nice.
Neil Reed takes it right up the gut.
Nice job by Neil. Recognizing the lane was open, he just took advantage of it, took it right to the basket.
Talk about lapses. We've seen 2 of them by Penn State on the defensive end in the last 2 trips for Indiana.
Well, so you lose focus of what's going on. We just talked about that with Hart. It's with every player on the floor.
Bartram from the outside had it halfway down for 3. Reed finds Miller. Lost the handle out of control.
Charlie needs to be smarter now.
Bartram offensive foul.
No
Or is
question.
it? Yep.
Yeah. What he did was he never got himself under control. He made the pass, and the defensive player did a nice job of taking the charge. There's the pass, but he can't get himself under control. Neil Reed was in perfect position and took the charge. What a gutty effort on the part of Reed. We saw his shoulder harness out here yesterday, Wayne. That's an unusual looking contraption.
Yeah, it is.
Wearing.
Bob talking with
trying
Charlie
to make
Miller.
a point. Trying to make a point. Charlie understands what he's saying. Coach is trying to squeeze his head a little bit to make sure that he's getting through to him. Charlie says, I understand, Coach. Coach slaps him on the butt and they go back to play.
I'll tell you, you look at Indiana's rotation of players, and of their 9 players that play a lot, 5 of them are freshmen. Amechi down low, but a tough day for him.
Yeah, it was a good move, too. I'm surprised he didn't finish that.
Lasicki left that tray attempt short.
He's strong with it now. He's tougher than they are. That's what you have to be saying to yourself.
Earl. Lasicki from the corner this time. Williams couldn't handle it.
Well, it was a good effort by Phil Williams. He just couldn't get a handle on it, but it was a good effort.
4:05 left to go for the game. Indiana leading 69-50. Henderson had the big first half.
That's important here now. If you use the clock a little bit, make sure you get a good shot. If you can get a good one, go inside. If you can't get the good perimeter shot.
Henderson had it sealed well. Phil Williams came over to help out, and I believe Ted Hillary's got the foul on Phil Williams.
They had a double team on Alan Henderson that time, but Alan did a nice job of going away from the pressure, trying to finish his shot. He got fouled. I'm really impressed with the way Alan Henderson uses his body around the basket. He seems to know where the defense is all the time.
Henderson has been near perfect here today. He's right at his average now. Amechi the rebound. Indiana leading by 20.
Yeah, Indiana's got the lead now. It looks like they're going to have a win here. The crowd is not into the game at this point. We need to see Penn State do something now in this possession.
Carlton wanted Amechi, but he's double teamed. Reed was helping out down low. 14 to go on the shot clock.
See Reed, how close Reed is to helping on the big guy, Amechi. Now he comes out to guard Earl.
Earl penetrating.
Good drive, good drive. Good recognition by Danny Earl. When he saw that lane down the middle, he took advantage of it.
18-point lead, Indiana. Lindemann had it knocked away by Ameche. Miller is fouled by Danny Earl, his third personal, and that puts Indiana in the super bonus.
Well,
Two shots coming up at the line.
You're right, Wayne. You know, they don't need fouls right now. What they need is good, solid defense, and maybe work to get turnovers rather than to get fouls. You send Indiana to the free throw line. They haven't been to the free throw line this year, by the way, as often as they have been in the past. But you just can't send teams to the free throw line when you're down 18. You've got to do other things. You've got to create turnovers and get easy baskets.
Michael Herman back into the lineup, replacing Neil Reed. We mentioned Indiana shooting 67.2% from the free throw line coming into this week's action. That's the worst percentage for Indiana, for an Indiana team since 1970-71, the year before Bob Knight arrived.
Well, I think everything reflects off of that free throw percentage. Your field goal percentage is down. You're shooting much better at home, obviously, than you are on the road, but all the percentages are down. Now, why? Well, you've got freshmen on your team, and freshmen will do that. They just don't have the confidence to do what the juniors and seniors do.
Charlie Miller has 3, 2:54 to go in the game. Indiana leading big at home. Indiana in the Hoosier drive to make the tournament. Illinois at home, and then a couple of tough road games at Michigan State and Wisconsin, wrapping it up on Seniors Day, and we'll be here for that game against Iowa on March 12th. Their fate could be sealed by the time the Iowa game comes around.
I think that's right. I think it will be, and I think they'll be in the NCAA tournament. They do need to win at least 10 games in the league.
Today will be their 8th win if they hold on to win this, and it looks like they will.
People got to remember there's 29 automatic bids in the tournament, Wayne, and then there's 35 at-large bids. And the Big Ten will most assuredly get a 5 and probably hope for 6.
Wasicki on the inbound to Secunda. Got it in just in time. Well, Secunda has had a very quiet day, just 9 points thus far today.
Yeah, he just, I'll tell you what, Indiana's done a really good job on him. Indiana's a little more athletic than this team, Penn State, and the difference is shown. Good job here, working the clock, because they're playing the clock right now.
13 to go in the shot clock. Miller came up short. Herman tried to get it back.
Well,
nice look to Lindemann.
Well, he got some good looks, didn't get it down.
Hartram comes out the other way, and Ted Hillary stops the action. Now, apparently, Secunda got poked in the eye, and now they check him over, so Penn State will inbound here in a moment. Pat Knight coming into the game for Indiana. Robbie Eggers also up off the bench.
Watch the hand Henderson's going to get here.
Henderson heads off.
What a great performance today, Wayne, by the senior.
23 points. Lindemann leads. He played well in this ball game also. Here's Bartram.
Good defense now by Indiana. You don't need fouls, just need to play solid defense.
Carlton gets the step.
Yeah, it was a nice curl move right down the middle. Good timing on Penn State for that play.
Charlie Miller slicing through. Pat Knight. Ameche clears the rebound. Under 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, he saw the angle. He took it right to the basket.
Rashawn Carlton has 8.
But he really picked him up. That lane opened, he took advantage of it.
Penn State has 3 games remaining. Ohio State at home, then at Michigan, and Minnesota at home to wrap up the season.
Get some good movement here now.
Indiana leading 71-56. 10 to go on the shot clock.
Herman wants it.
Down to 5 to go on the shot clock. Forced there, out of bounds off Carlton. It'll belong to Indiana with under a minute to go. Michael Joseph up off the bench. He'll get John Ameche.
2 seconds left on the shot clock. They're going to reset, maybe?
They should reset it because it
go.
did hit the rim. Ameche leads with 11 points. A tough afternoon for him.
Yeah, you're right, Wayne. But he never stopped battling. He stayed in there, and battled and battled and battled. And, you know, Indiana's aggressive inside, but he handled most of it really well.
John Paul, a football player in the Indiana football program, is on the floor now for the Indiana basketball Hoosiers. Robbie Eggers for three. Eggers chases down. Saves to the wrong side. Here comes Bartram. Secunda.
He took it strong. He just didn't finish. Looks like he was serving a bowl of soup.
Foul on Lisicki in the backcourt. Stops the clock with 36.5 seconds to go.
You've got to go in here and dunk this shot. This gun is going to, you know, you see the breakaway here, but look at this. Looks like he's serving a bowl of soup here. Go in there and dunk that thing. Put an exclamation mark on this afternoon. It's been a tough day for him. He ought to finish that off hard. He's had a tough afternoon. Good kid. He's going to be an important factor in this program.
John Paul at the free throw line makes good on his first. His second upcoming. I believe he's a wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken, in the Indiana football program. He was redshirted this past season. 73-56 the score. Indiana with the lead. Bartram.
Nice pass.
Nice drop to Michael Joseph. 73-58 Indiana. So Penn State falls to 15-9, 7-8 in the Big Ten. Indiana 16-10, 8-6 in conference play. Charlie Miller, a little too strong on that offering. Final 10 seconds in this ball game. A lead to Secunda.
Finish it
for the final points of the game. The 11 for Secunda. And the Indiana Hoosiers at home hold serve and defeat the Penn State Nittany Lions. Bob Knight and company keeping the NCAA hope alive with a team dominated by freshmen. Bruce Parkhill and company still have some work to do on the road to the tournament. John Amaechi talking with the general. Amaechi worked hard today, was not rewarded for his efforts with just 11 points in the ball game. Indiana wins it 73-60 over Penn State. We'll be back to put a wrap on it coming up after these messages from Assembly Hall. Indiana, you got a logjam at 5 and 6 losses behind the leaders, Michigan State and Purdue, each with 3 losses apiece. And again, as we mentioned, you look at 18 wins and 10 conference wins. 18 overall, 10 conference wins has assured a Big Ten team of getting to the tournament every single time. If you can get to those levels. Sometimes you make it with 9 conference wins. Sometimes you make it with less than 18 wins overall. But generally, that's what you're talking about. Penn State now has 3 games remaining. And they play at home against Ohio State, then at Michigan and Minnesota at home. So, again, the Nittany Lions, you would have to think, would have to run the table.
Well, that's right. And I think that's going to be important. I'm going to be interested to see what Iowa does. You see some of the other games that are going to be important. But Wisconsin at Purdue is going to be a big game, and the Illinois at Michigan game.
Don't forget that Illinois at Michigan game tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have that game for you on many of these Raycom stations. And again, as we mentioned earlier today, Ohio State defeated Minnesota 73-65 in Columbus this afternoon. We'll be back. Final comments from Assembly Hall after these words.
We changed the way you saw the world.